Ravi Uppal, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of JSPL, joins us live from New Delhi. Ravi, morning. Thank you for joining us. Got to first ask you about gas allocation. The cabinet will soon decide who will get gas more, whether it's power or fertilizer.
Well, it's actually both of them which should get the gas. You know, the gas and power, both of them put together, they today take about 75 to 80%. And I think both of them are very vital to the economy. So, but, you know, both gas and fertilizer are going to be seriously impacted by the recent hike in price of gas, which is suggested with implementation from April 2014. So, but the need for both these, industries is vital. But let me say like this, that the gas-based power industry doesn't have much of a future in India. If the pricing is going to be done at $8.2 with the rupee at 60 against dollar. This essentially means that the gas will be costing, if you maintain the same parity between US dollar and rupee, near more than 600 rupees per MBTU. And just compare this against what things were in June 2010 or 11. When the dollar to rupee was 44 rupees and the gas was costing $4.2 for every MBTU. And then it meant, the gas pricing was nearly 200 rupees or less for every MBTU. So this essentially means that you're hiking up the gas price, from 200 rupees to 600 rupees plus. So therefore, it's going to have very adverse impact on the growth of the gas-based power industry unless government continues to subsidize them, which I don't think government can do very long. So I'm one of those who believe that if the gas is going to be priced like this, and if the power tariffs remain in the market based on coal where they are today, the gas-based power generation has very limited scope, and it will require constant support from the government. I'm personally of the view that the gas-based power industry, which is today accounting nearly 9% of the installed capacity, and in absolute terms are about 20,000 megawatt, I think government will do well to tell the power producer not to set up any more gas-based power plants and just support the capacity which is already installed. I think that's what we can do as far as the gas-based power projects are concerned.
So, Mr. Uppal, how is the power business shaping up for JSPL in terms of the production as well as margins? For the last 1 year, most power companies were facing huge amount of margin pressure. Is that the case with JSPL as well?
Well, let me first say that first we don't have any gas-based capacity. Just to put things in perspective, our capacity is based on coal. And in the last 12 months, there has, of course, been pressure on the prices of the power generation, done by the various units, both especially in the private sector. And the reason for that is not that there's no demand. There's a huge demand. A lot of states in the southern part of the country are going without power up to 10 to 12 hours every day. It's just that the transmission capacity hasn't grown in proportion. I'm given to understand that a lot of it will come up during the next 2 years, and already the action is underway, and some of the relief may come in the next 6 months' time. So therefore, the generation is getting localized. We are not able to take advantage of the capacity which is available on a nationwide basis. I think these are some of the anomalies in our growth plan, which are affecting the realization for the power producers. But I like to believe that this is short, this is something which is only in passing, and things will settle on better, and the tariffs will come to where they really belong.
Ravi, when I talk to institutional investors who've tracked your stock, who've owned your stock in the past, they are of the view that JSPL has all ingredients of being a great company. But the problem is the current legal problems the company is currently entangled in. How would you quell or allay all the investors' fear who want to buy your stock but they are not doing so because of the legal problems?
Well, you just said that the company's fundamentals are extremely sound and they remain so. See, JSPL is a very innovative company. Our business model is very unique, in which we do complete integration from the raw material up to the final product. And we are a very cost-focused company. In many things, we go for cost leadership, and that is what we, sort of give us a distinct advantage in the market. Our cost model is very lean. So I think all fundamentals are basically very sound. And there are some aberrations which do appear time to time, which are not external, internal, which come from the external environment. You know, and we take them in its own stride. We are a highly, sort of law-abiding company. We have always done everything right from the day that we were conceived till today, which is strictly in compliance with the laws which are prevailing at that point of time. And we therefore feel that if at all there's any kind of issue which has come up, we will be able to sort of overcome that. It's just a matter of little time. So we remain on course. We continue to grow. And I can tell you that JSPL still remains in a position to deliver the best value to our investors. I would like to assure them on behalf of company's management.
I'm not debating that, but again, you're not answering my questions. When do you think the legal problems will be sorted?
Well, I should be asking you. You know that we are continuing to give all the answers which are being asked to us. Therefore, I can't forecast when they come to an end. Obviously, they are not, as we see, they are not any serious issues. They are minor things in which we need to give clarification, which we have done in a very speedy way. So as far as we are concerned, there are no legal tangles. There are no illegal issues. So people are asking us questions and clarifications, and we are able to give them. So we are not worried at all. We continue to focus on our business as we do.
Right, fair point. There have been some signs of a slight recovery in steel prices globally, like US as well as China. Even iron ore prices are at 2-month highs for themselves. Are we at the start of a recovery cycle, according to you?
Well, you're quite right that the steel prices have gone through a very challenging phase in the last 6 to 12 months. But the good news is that both in China and United States and even in Canada, the price of steel have started to firm up. And there is some resurgence in demand of steel. United States economy is expected to grow, by 3%, which is among the best in the last 5 years. And China also seems to be, sort of recovering from what they lost during the previous year. So all put together, I think that the demand for steel will start to look up. But I think one thing I think we have to take note of, there will be a global consolidation in steel capacity. Let me give you an example. Globally, if you look at the total installed capacity is about 2 billion tons. And the global production is about 1.5, which means the capacity utilization is about 75%. Now, as against that, if you look at India with our capacity about 95 million tons, we are producing about 80 million tons, and our capacity is about 84% utilization. So India's average capacity utilization is better than what is globally. And the same can be said about China. The plants which are really suffering are the ones located in Europe, Japan, and in some parts of America. And I like to believe that given the trend which continues in the market, that there will be a lot of closure of plants in Europe in particular, and also possibly in Japan and other parts. And a lot of this capacity is going to get relocated. So I would say that the industry is basically in transition. You will see that India, which is number 4th producer right now, and first of course is China, followed by Japan and USA. I think we will be able to pick both of them, and we will come to slot number 2. We ourselves as an economy have not grown as much as we thought. We were expecting that India's economy will grow anywhere between 7 to 8%, which hasn't happened. And this has also had an adverse impact on the growth of steel. Steel demand last year grew only by 3.5%, as against 8%, which was the forecast. So I think I would like to believe that that's a passing phase. India does have a huge demand propensity for steel, and it must come back to it. There's no reason why the demand will remain subdued as it has done. But the demand of steel is very closely linked with 2 things: manufacturing industry and the infrastructure industry. So if you get more investment in both of them, and everybody today is sort of pushing hard to pep up the growth of the manufacturing industry, which is long overdue. So therefore, the demand for steel will be closely behind it. So I think once this particular quarter, of course, is a monsoon quarter, so I don't see that there will be any major resurgence in demand. But just after the rains subside and come month of September, I do think that the demand for steel in India will also start looking up. The other good news is that, of course, everything has a good and a bad side. If you look at the Indian rupee's parity against dollar, since it has rupees depreciated, we have become very competitive again in exports. So Indian companies, I'm given to understand in the last 3 months, the exports have really shot up, on the strength of a weaker rupee against dollar.
Okay, Mr. Uppal, good chatting with you. Appreciate you taking the time out. Let you go on that note.